Hi everyone, it's Debbie with Book and Bujo. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. It's time for May's TBRopoly. Per usual, I will go over my TBRopoly from April and see if I get a reward or a punishment, and then we will move into May's roles. In April, I did have a reward, and that was to ignore doubles, and I didn't really want to do that because I was excited I did get 2 doubles, and so I made those 2 optional because I really wanted to read all the books that came up. And I needed the books for Readathons anyway, so I ignored that. So I have until, so that was April, May, I have until June's game to use that, and if I don't use it by June, then it goes back into the deck, and July starts fresh with no rewards. For my first roll, I had gotten an odd card, and that was to play a TBR game, and I did play Lord of the Reeds by Library Unbounded, and that was to continue a series, so I continued with the Bloodline series and read the 5th book, and that was Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead, and I did complete that. Next was an even card, and that was to read an audiobook, and for that I read The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I did complete that. And then I got a challenge card, and that was to review one backlog book, and this one actually had a little negative, which means I could remove a roll, which I didn't do that. Roll number 4, I got a TBR jar, and that was The Throne of the Broken Gods by Amber V. Nicole. This is the 2nd book in the Gods and Monsters series, and I did read that. It was okay. Not a favorite. I think I gave it 3.5, unfortunately, but I did finish it. Next, I landed on NetGalley, and the book I chose was Immortal Gifts by Catherine Villiard, and I loved that. And then I landed on a special edition, and I got When Swords Fall Silent. When Swords Fall Silent. I am almost done with the 4th story, and then I will move into the 5th one, and I still have a week-ish left in the month, so I will definitely have this one done before the end of the month. If not, I will have maybe 1 or 2 stories left, and I will easily finish that up in May, so that one is considered a win. Next was another odd card, and I had gotten Water on the Cover, and for this one I chose Rainbow Valley by Lucy Maud Montgomery, and I am about 25% of the way through, but it's a under 9-hour audiobook, so I will easily have that finished either tonight or tomorrow morning, and so that one will be done before the end of the month. And then I got another odd card, and that was a book that features games or trials, and I chose The Last Embers by A.R. Shaw, and this one did say it had trials in it, and it sort of did. So I'm still counting it. I did read it. It was different than what I would normally read, but it was interesting. Next was another odd card, and that was to read a book with a forest setting or trees on the cover. And for this one, I chose The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne, and I have not yet started this one. But as soon as I'm done with Rainbow Valley, either tonight or tomorrow morning, I will then start The Hunger of the Gods. I wanted a little break in the high epic fantasy action kind of fantasy books. So as soon as I'm done with Rainbow Valley, I will start Hunger of the Gods, and I will easily have that one done by the end of the month because I have the audiobook, so that'll be helpful. My next roll was another TBR jar, and that was to read Gods of the Weirdwood, and that is by R.J. Barker, and it's the 1st book in the series, and I did finish this one, and it was very interesting. Not at all what I was expecting, I guess. Somewhat what I was expecting, but then again, not at all. But I did enjoy it, and it was good. Next up was a challenge card, and that was to take a class. And for this one, I did complete my Club Crocheting 101 class. I completed all of the lessons, and the only thing I have left is to make a beanie, and I'm super excited to start on that one. Stay tuned, and I will show you that beanie sometime in a future video. So that one is complete. Next up, I skipped one. The prompt before the Take a Class Challenge prompt was another NetGalley space, and I did read Elevator Quest by Emmanuel M. Arriaga, and I love this. Again, not what I was expecting. I knew it was kind of, you get into this elevator and it was kind of like a portal into another world. Yes, but didn't realize that other world was a lit RPG game. Sort of. like you didn't have the level ups and that kind of stuff. Like, oh, you have +2 attributes. Where would you like to put them? Like, it doesn't have that kind of stuff in the story, but it was like being dumped into a video game and having to fight your way through. And I don't want to give away the plot at the end, or the twist at the end, which I did see coming, but in a good way. And oh, it was so good. It was so good, so interesting. Just that ending, like I loved it. Okay, then the Club Crochet take a class, and now the next roll was an even card, and that was to read a classic. And I did read A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and I thought it was good. I think as a kid, I think if I read it as a kid, I would have liked it better. And that's kind of what I was thinking as I was reading it. And then I realized by the time we got to the end, like I didn't really see it too much in the first half, but towards the last half, I'm like, have I read this? Have I read this before? I wonder if I've read this before. And by the end, I'm like, I have read this before. And I just thought it was okay the first time I read it. So apparently my younger self thought it was just okay as well. So it was good, but not amazing. I kind of felt the same way about The Secret Garden though. I liked it, but didn't love it. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. And then I had another even card, and that was to read a Gothic book. One of my favorite genres, subgenres. Love it. Anything Gothic. So Gothic fantasy, Gothic horror, Gothic whatever. I love it. And for this one, I read Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. And oh, chef's kiss. Loved that book. So good. Now, it had nothing on Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. That one is still my top favorite Gothic horror. But Don't Let the Forest In is right up there with it. It's so good. And then lastly, so that was my first kind of optional prompt, because that was one of my doubles. So like the last 2 prompts I didn't have to do, but I did read both of them. Just spoiler for this last one, I read this too. And that was another challenge card, and that was to read a Herkiad prompt. And this one had the little plus on it, and I ignored that too because the other challenge card I had a minus, so they canceled each other out. So, and I was going to be supposed to ignore doubles anyway, which I didn't do. So I ended up reading all the books. And the last one for the Herkiad prompt, I did choose one of the books from the Challenge Yourself, which is to read all the Bengali books that I own. And I finished Demon's Reign by Bengali and David Estes. And it was very interesting. Not quite what I was expecting, but once I kind of got past that, I did really enjoy it. So this one is about small people who live in a giant tree. So they're tiny. They've got to be tiny people. Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that aspect of it. It did bring to mind, I don't know if you remember from childhood, most of y'all are probably way too young, but the Littles. I don't know if I still have one of their books or not, but the Littles, they were little small humans that lived in the walls of your house and had little tails. They were super cute. But yeah, that's kind of what my mind kept picturing. They're tree dwelling people that have kind of a class system. So you have like the firstborns, the secondborns, the thirdborns, and that's kind of like the order that you're born in. But they also have like the working class, the warrior class, the ruling class type of thing. And their tree is in danger. So they have to defend their tree. It's very good, very interesting. Not at all as I was expecting. So I did complete my TBR. There's 2 books I'm in the middle of, and 1 book I have not yet started, but I will start that tomorrow. And so that is going to be a win. Yay! That means I get a reward. Let's see what it's going to be. So I finished my TBR for April, so that means I get to choose a reward. And that is, you can count a book you've already started, even if you are almost done with it. Ooh, I like that one. That's a good one. So for my reward, as you just saw, I can count a book. This one's a long one. I can count a book I've already started, even if you are almost done with it. I like that one. I mean, I might be able to put When Swords Fall Silent on there. And one of the readathons I'm doing, you can read 50% of the book the month prior before, and then read the final 50% in May. But with the perk that I have from that one, I can read 99% of it in April and 1% of it in May. So this is a good one for that. Now let's see how many rolls I'm going to be doing for May. All right, let's go ahead and roll my D8 and see how many rolls I'll be doing for May. Now, I do have a couple of readathons I can be taking part of. There's always May the Force Read With You from Eric at Break Even Books. We have Goober-a-thon with Just from Jashi Curran. And I think there's a mystery one from Paginator. And I feel like there's one other one that is just for May. Oh, Escape the Room is also happening. I don't want, less than 4 or 5 rolls, but I'm also not going to roll more than my D8. So let's go ahead and see what I'm going to get. 5. That is a great option. I do have to say I cheated a little bit. So the first time I rolled the dice, I got 1. I'm like, there is no way I'm just going to do 1 dice roll. No way. So I rolled a second time, and that time I did get 5. So 5 rolls. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more, but I will take the 5 and then just pick any extra books that I need to for readathons and such. All right, let's get into my first roll. In April, my last roll was a challenge card, so that's where I will be starting. And then I also wanted to point out one change I did make to the board. I did have 2 spots for NetGalley, and for some reason I kept landing on both of them in the same game. Like, that's happened multiple times in the last 6 months. So I went ahead and took out one of them and put in my family challenge instead. So if I land on that space, then I will do a spinner wheel of all the books that are on my shelves for my family challenge, and that will choose the book that I read for that one. Otherwise, everything is the same. Again, I'm starting here on the challenge spot. Let's go ahead and get my 2 6-sided die and do roll number 1. 11. Got nervous there for a second. I thought there was doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hi everyone, Editing Debbie here. I realized when I was watching back and editing my first roll that I went 12 spaces and not 11. So this kind of screws up all the rest of the rolls. But I think I'm going to just keep it as it is. 26 in 2026. Perfect. Oh, Heavenly Bodies. All right. I've heard good things about that one. So for roll number 1, I landed on 26 in 2026, which is great. And that is to read Heavenly Bodies. And that is by Imani Iru. Not quite sure how to say her last name. And this one is book 1 in the Heavenly Bodies series. And I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and I'm excited to give this one a try. Okay, roll number 2. 7. No, that is an 8. I can count, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. And that's an even number, so even card. Random color generator. Alrighty. Next up was an even card, and that was a random color generator. So let's see what color I'm going to get. And for that, I got green. And I looked at all the books that I need to read, so like book club books for readathons, readalongs, that kind of thing. None of them were green. Like, there were some that had green on them, but they weren't like green. Like, it didn't stand out as like, hey, that book cover is green. So I went to my Our Fantasy Bingo TBR. I even looked at Herkiad, nothing there. And I looked at the Horror Bingo Readathon, which I'm participating in as well, both year-long ones. And I did find one, and that is episode 13, and that is by Craig DeLuey. So I'm excited to try this one out. And I was watching a couple of YouTube videos and somebody shouted out this book as well. So I'm excited to give it a try.
Roll number 3 of 5. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, a nonfiction. Awesome.
Next roll, I landed on nonfiction, and I struggled a little with this one. So I was looking at my nonfiction list that I made for this year, and there's a few that I'm interested in reading. And there's one I can get the audiobook for, but I was like, you know what? I really need to finish this one. This is one I should probably focus on above the others. I keep kind of putting it off because I've been reading, TBR and Readathon books, and I'm like, I really should put this one on there, but I don't know if I want to try and like cram it all in one month. So I'm going to put this one in here with the caveat that if I need to stop and dig in a little bit more and take my time with it and maybe kind of stretch it out into June, then I will still call that a win. And that is The Anti-Inflammatory 30-Day Diet by Sophie Richards. So this is one I'm really excited about. And I actually have already started it a little bit. So that means I can use my reward, even though I'm on page 30. So it's not like super far in, but I'm going to count it and use my reward, saying even if I've already started the book, I can count it. So there we go. And I will leave Sophie's YouTube channel linked down below in case you want to check her out.
And I did pass start again, so I did make a tick mark for that. So I'm now up to 6. So I think I decided if I get 10, then I can choose my reward. So I can either use that to buy a book, or I can swap out a prompt that I don't want and replace it with just any book that I want to read. So that's going to be my reward for passing start 10 times. Okay, roll number 4. A 9. Getting lots of big numbers today. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A booktuber rec. Hitting all the corners too.
Next up, I landed on booktuber rec. And for this one, I am going to go with my buddy read with Stephanie. And that is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. And I've heard some really good things about this one, and it looks so much fun. I know it's a pretty long series, but I don't care about that. I like long series. So I am excited to get to this one. And thank you so much, Stephanie, for asking me to buddy read this with you.
Roll 5 of 5. Oh. Had to have doubles somewhere. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Another corner. Well, we've hit 3 of the corners so far. And that is to read a classic.
Next up, I landed on classic. I haven't been pulling a lot of cards on this one. I've landed on a lot of normal spaces on the board, which is kind of interesting. And of course, for classic, I'm going to continue with the Anne of Green Gables read-along and read Rilla of Ingleside, the 8th and final book in the Anne of Green Gables series by Lucy Maud Montgomery. And of course, that one was a double, which is nice. So that gave me a 6th book, and let's see what that's going to be.
All right, roll 6 of 6 now. And that is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6, another even card. And that is to read a graphic novel. I'm sure there's some I would like to read. Actually, the book club pick for the Well-Read Book Club is a graphic novel for May. So depending on which one gets chosen, that's the one I'll read. I was really close to going past start again, but that'll have to be for June.
So my 6th and final roll was another even card, and that was to read a graphic novel, which worked out perfectly because the Well-Read Book Club is reading a graphic novel this month, and that is Sheets by Brenna Boomler. And I have seen G at Book Roast talk about this graphic novel and a couple of other people, and they really liked it, so I'm excited to try it. And my library has it, which is a bonus.
But if you're interested, I did go through and figure out what everything would have been. So I should have landed on that first NetGalley space and then picked a NetGalley book. My next roll still would have been the same as the original, so that's good, just on a different spot. And then I should have landed on Amazon Borrows, so I should have picked one of my Amazon Borrow books. And then the next roll should have been an odd card, And that would have been to randomize my TBR. And then my next roll would have been Kindle backlist. And then my last roll would have been 26 in 2026, which is the same as the first roll that I did. So overall, half the rolls would have been the same, and then half would have been slightly different. At least one of the books I would have chosen the same anyway. So 4 of the books would pretty much have been the same. It's just 2, the Amazon Borrows and the odd card randomize your TBR would have been different. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep with what I have. And then maybe take a penalty roll or add an extra roll in June just for my lack of noticing and inability to move correctly through the board. That's my thoughts for now. So there we go. Enjoy the rest of the TBR.
Oh, and so my TBRopoly was short and sweet, and I only drew 3 cards, which is crazy. Usually I have a lot more than that. So this will be kind of fun. Now let's move into book clubs. The Boundless Book Club with This Story Ain't Over. We read 2 books each month. One's a nonfiction and one is a fiction. I still have a backlog of 2 books that I haven't read yet. And the first one, because I didn't have access to it, I couldn't find it anywhere, but my library does have it now, and that's The Blueprint by Gianna Rashad. I believe this was a book for February. And then for April, I am still waiting for Perfect Victims by Mohammed El Kurd. So if I get that in April, then I will read it in April. If not, I will try and shove it into May. See what happens. But the 2 books for May, I cannot find either of them. I've tried Hoopla and I've tried Libby. I've tried my library, of course. And so nothing yet. If I can find them, I will definitely read them. I will keep them on my list and keep checking, because like the Blueprint ended up coming in. So I will keep looking down the different months of the year. But until then, and the first one is called Border and Rule, and that is by Harsha Walia. It's about a like the border patrol kind of a thing, a border between countries. That one's the nonfiction. The Boundless Book Club, The Story Ain't Over. She has her own publishing company, and one of their first books published is Burn the Sea, and that is by Mona Tewan, and it's newly released. I think it came out in March, maybe April. I think March though. And it's still fairly new. My library does not have that, and I couldn't find it on Libby or anything either. So I am still looking for that one. And again, if I can get my hands on it later in the year, I will definitely read it. Then we move into the Catch-Up Book Club, and the book for May and June is The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, and this is the last book in the Bloodsworn saga. And then the Game of Tomes Book Club is actually reading for May, June, July, and August, so 1 book for every 4 months. And they are reading the entire Anne of Green Gables series, books 1 through 8. And, well, there we go. I'm on book 8, so that makes it easy. So I'll be reading Rilla of Ingleside by Lusma Montgomery. In Other Words Book Club, we're reading The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And I have already read this one, so I will be skipping the reread on that. And then we have the Hardcore Literature Book Club. Well, one of the books for April. It's actually through the summer, so kind of like April, May, June, July kind of time. And that is The Complete Poetry of William Blake. I have not started this. I really don't think I'm going to read all of this because, I mean, poetry is not my thing. But I will dip in and out here and there and give a few a try, but I will probably not read this whole thing. For May, we are adding on to those, and that is the Napoleon Quartet. So there's 4 books. They're usually found in a mashup like this with all of them together. And I think the first book is 300 something pages, and then the last 3 are just over 400, like 414, and like just over 400. And that is by Elena Ferrante. They are originally in Italian, and so these are translated work. And it starts with My Brilliant Friend. So I will be trying to read all of those in May. We'll see. I think I was able to get most of them into a readathon. But even if I get the first one done, then that will be amazing. And then I can just sprinkle the rest of them throughout the rest of the year. Because I think the 4 books total are 1,600 pages, almost 1,700 pages. So I may break that up. And then the Well-Read Book Club, like I mentioned earlier, is reading Sheets by Brenna Thumler. I'm just so intrigued. It looks adorable and it looks heartwarming and like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now for Readalongs. The Vampire Academy read-along with Sandra from Got a Thing for Things. We are on the final book, and that is Ruby Circle by Rochelle Mead, the 6th and final book in the Bloodline series. And then for the Anne of Green Gables series, we're also on the final book, and that is Rilla of Ingleside by Lucy Maud Montgomery. The Shades of Magic read-along that I was doing did finish in April. We read the final book, which is The Fragile Threads of Power. I'm not quite sure when the second book in that series comes out, but not any time in the next few months. Next up, year-long readathons. For a buzzword, the title prompt is make. So we have to find a book that has the word make in the title. And for this one, I did find, it's super short, but I did find it. It's on Storygraph, it's on Goodreads. It's like 13 pages long, but it's called Rainmaker, and that is by Taylin Carver, and I was able to get a copy of this from the author, and it's also set in Arizona. So excited for this one. And then the cover prompt, the book has to have a border on it. So a border around it, almost like a frame or something like that around the book cover. And for this one, I'm going to read Rilla of Ingleside by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Next we have Aldia. For You're an Aldia, Luminara is going from 4A to 5A, and that is a book from a series longer than 3 books. And well, I have a lot to choose from for that one. But I ended up going with Ruby Circle, the 6th and final book in the Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead. And then Castian is going from 4D to 5D, and he has to read a book where the main character is a dancer, or dance is important. And I struggled with this one. I was trying to find a book already on my TBR, or one that I could also use in other readathons. And I started just pulling up some of the books, trying to read the synopsis. I'm like, is there dance in this book? Is there dance in here? And I pulled up one, and it said the main character is very excited to attend and get ready for and prep for a school dance. So I'm going to count this one because it sounds like a big chunk of the book is going to be about a dance. And that is Rilla of Ingleside by Lucy Maud Montgomery, the 8th and final book in the Anne of Green Gables series. And if for some reason I read it and it's like 10% of the book, then I will see if I can find something else. But for now, I'm going to count it. Now for TBR Knockout with Melanie from Completely Melanie. The first prompt is a book that has 5 to 7 words in the title, and actually I have quite a few. I chose The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, the 3rd and final book in the Bloodsworn saga. And the second prompt was a book with green on the cover. I was like, well, look at that. That was very, not planned, but very helpful because that was a TBR prompt as well. And so I chose, of course, episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. And then Year of Goober, which I'm pretty sure the 2 prompts from this one coincide with prompts from the May Readathon, Goober Readathon. And I think they did that on purpose so you can read the same book for both. And the first one is Shared by Someone Else. And I'm going to go with Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, as this one is a buddy read. And then the second prompt is Genre Blend. And for this one, I'm going to go with Heavenly Bodies. And it did say it's a fantasy romance, but I think there was another genre in there as well. So I think this one actually had 3 genres that were listed. And that is by Amani Iru, the first book in the series. And then I also have TBR Trek that will be coming up in another couple weeks. It's mid-month to mid-month instead of start of to end of month. So I don't know what those ones are going to be yet. We have the Once Upon a Year readathon, and I have not looked to see what the May prompts are going to be yet. I'm pretty sure the video is already up. I just haven't watched it yet. I need to do that. And then let's go to Lost in the Library. Here's my rolls.
I need to do my 3 rolls for Lost in the Library. I did end on the movie and or game night space. That's where I currently am. So let's go ahead and do our first roll. A 3. 1, 2, 3. Treat yourself. 1, 2, 3. Already done that one. Currently reading that one right now. Oh, and that's the only options, right? 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Yeah, so I guess treat yourself it is. Okay, roll number 2. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cozy activity. Can you go this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fast or slow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I can go to YA. I do need that room. I think I'm going to do that because I need either YA or manga. I mean, manga would be great, actually. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't really want the fast or slow one. I mean, I could do the cozy activity because I could do some crocheting and then hope I get a 4. Maybe I'll do that. So we'll do cozy activity. Make sure that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt me. It's the only 2 I have left, so. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, manga. And that's it.
Okay, roll number 1, treat yourself, so I can treat myself to whatever it is I want. I can buy a book, I can have a fun drink, maybe my favorite meal, movie night, buy some yarn, something like that. Well, number 2 was the cozy activity, so I could buy some yarn and then crochet with that yarn. Maybe I'll buy some yarn for the beanie and then do the beanie. That would be a good plan. And then lastly, I landed on graphic novel manga, which was perfect so I can read Sheets by Brenna Thumler. And then we have some of the year-long challenges from Bridge 4, and we start with foreplay. The first prompt is a morally gray character or a villain main character. And for this one, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume we're going to have some morally gray main characters in this one. And that is The Forever King by Ben Galley, the first book in the Scalusan Chronicles. If the Emaneska series is anything to go by, the main character is probably going to be morally gray. But if for some reason that does not happen, Fury of the Gods maybe. That one's a little up in the air, but until I read the book itself, but I'm going to assume one of those will work. And then read a standalone. I'm going to go ahead and throw episode 13 in here again by Craig DeLuey. The next one is a diverse cast of characters, and I'm going to go with Ruby Circle by Rochelle Mead, the 6th book in the Bloodline series, because, I mean, you got vampires, you got Dompiers, you have alchemists, you've got just plain old humans, you've got... There's a lot of stuff going in here. You have the, I already forgot what, the Strigoi. Yeah, there's so many different types of characters and race, nationalities, all that stuff in here. I mean, we've got people from Russia, you've got people from the US, you've got people from the UK. So, I mean, there's people all over the place, from all over the place, all different types of characters in that one. Punctuation in the title. And the first one that I found is the anti-inflammatory diet. And you can't really see it, but there it is right there. There's a dash. And that counts. So, there we go. And then lastly, published in May. And I was looking and I'm like, I'm not finding anything. And then I did find a specific edition of Rilla of Ingleside was in May. I'm like, I'm going to keep looking because that's not the edition I have. And then I found out that The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig was published in May. I'm like, this is perfect. So this was a gift from Stephanie, who I am doing a buddy read with in May. So this is perfect because this one's from Stephanie. Plus I'm reading a book with Stephanie. Yay. Stephanie, May is your month. It's also your birthday month. So like, it's all about you. I love it. So thank you again, Stephanie, for this. It's amazing. Can't wait to read it. And then we move into Journey Through the Stars, also from Bridge 4. And they do not have a YouTube channel, but they are on Discord. So if I can, I will figure out how to link their Discord in the description box in case you want to check it out, because they have some amazing stuff there. And the first prompt is a book about lost civilizations, discoveries, or unraveling of the past. And I have no idea. If you know of any of the books that are already on my TBR that have that, please enlighten me and let me know. But I'm going to go out on a limb just kind of from the description of this book. that this might work for it, and that's The Final System, and that's by Anthony Tardif. And this one was from one of the Prime Reading First Reads, and this one comes out in May or June. I think it's June. I think this one comes out in June, and I am excited to read this one. I mean, it's definitely sci-fi. You can see a cool city in the background, but from what I could tell from the description, from the short little synopsis that I read, this one might work. Maybe The Fury of the Gods? Not sure. Next up is a mostly blue cover, and I was thinking of doing The Night and the Moth, because I mean, that's mostly blue. And I feel like this is also dark blue. It's not black, but I'm not sure. It might just be black. I'm not sure. There is a lot of blue on there, but it's also kind of gray. It's kind of a gray blue. So the other thought was, this one's blue. She's wearing blue, and this is blue. So I mean, I could use this one as well. So the blue, it's mostly blue on the cover, or water on the cover, or in the title. I went with a blue book. Takes place underwater or near water, and I'm going to put a Herkiad book in here, and that is The Deep by Rivers Solomon. And this one will also work for Horror Bingo Readathon. And then lastly, Starbridge. This one's the difficult one, where you have a prompt for the first book, and then the second prompt depends on what you read for that first book. The third prompt depends on what you read for the second book, and so on and so forth. So the first prompt is a 500+ page book. That's easy. I've got a lot. But I decided to go with The Forever King by Ben Galley, the first book in the Skulusan Chronicles. The second prompt is, this book has the same author as book number 1. And I was like, these prompts were made for my Herkiad challenge. Because I need to read all the Ben Galley books I can before the end of June. So this is helping me. Thank you, Starbridge and Bridge 4. And for this one, I'm going to read Demon's Rage, which is the second book in the series by David Estes and Ben Galley. And if you can see, I mean, that looks kind of like a hummingbird. So, I mean, that would tell you the size of the characters. And then prompt 3 shares an object on the cover with book 2. Now this one might be a little bit of a stretch, but I'm going with it. And book 2, as you can see, there is an animal on the cover. So the object is an animal. So I'm going to go with The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, third book in the Bloodsworn Saga, and there is an animal on the cover of this book as well. Prompt number 4. Author of book 4 has the same last initial as book 3. So that would be John Gwynne, so that would be a G. So I'm going to read The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, also a G. Prompt number 5 is, the main cover color is the opposite of book 4. So the opposite of blue is kind of that reddish color. And as this one's a little bit more pale and muted, I'm going to go with The Ruby Circle by Rochelle Mead, the 6th book in the Bloodline series. It's a lot of page count on that challenge. Yeah. Now we move into the month-long readathon. So there are 3 month-long readathons that I plan on taking part of. One of them, the video has not come out yet, so I don't know any of the prompts, but as soon as it comes out, I will let you guys know when I will be reading for it. And that's May the Force Read With You with Eric from Break Even Books. This would be my 4th year participating in this one. I have been on the dark side, I've been on the neutral side, and I've been on the light side. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna choose for this one. I've been an Ewok. I was a Dark Sith Lord Ewok. That was my favorite year so far because that was so fun. And last year, I think I was a neutral bounty hunter. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do for that one yet, but I'm excited for that one. Future Debbie here because the May the Force Read With You readathon video came out and I had to start building my TBR. So excited for it. Also extremely confused. I'll get it figured out though. It's more, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll start with the new character sheets and some new species that you can be. So excited for this one. My character name is going to be Dathka, And my species is a Jawa, because why not? So fun. And my profession is going to be an engineer. I usually like to kind of mix it up to where it's like, what would you think would be the least likely that a Jawa would be? And then pick that, you know, like my Dark Sith Lord Ewok. But I decided, you know what, let's go with what the Jawas are actually decent at. So I kind of was thinking smuggler a little bit, but then I decided to go with engineer. I kind of sprung it on my husband. I was like, so if you were a Jawa, what career would you want to be? He's like, working with droids. I'm like, okay, good. Engineer it is. And then with that, you get a little profession sheet here, and anytime you see the little lightsabers means those are not available to your career path. Now, every single career path has two that are unavailable somewhere in it, so they're all equal. And this is kind of where some of the confusion is. So it says like your status, your title, your species. So the species, it says like +4 if you're not a human, but we can't find the species prompts, because usually there's a prompt that you read for whatever species you are, and I haven't been able to figure out where that is. I went through all the PDFs on the Google Drive and haven't figured that out. So we've kind of reached out in Discord and been like, are there prompts for this, or are we missing something? What are we missing? And then you have your associations where you get points, and there's prompts, but can't find those either. Abilities and equipment. Again, there's supposed to be prompts for each of these, but I know he changed it a little bit for this time around. So I don't know if maybe there's prompt polls with the ranks. So I don't know if maybe those are the prompts that you fit into here, but I think I just need a little more explanation on that and haven't figured that out yet. So that's kind of on hold a little bit. But with the rank prompts, so everyone starts out as rank 1. So I'm going to go over those prompts, and then once you finish those, you can move into rank 2, then rank 3, etc. And then at the end of the month, whatever prompt you stopped at, that's whatever rank that your character is. So we'll just do the rank 1 prompts. And the first one is a book with a POV that's a different race than you. And I was like, But then I was looking at my TBR and I was like, oh, sheets. I'm not a sheet. I'm not a ghost. So maybe that one. Also bloodlines, because it doesn't say the main character, it says the POV. And there is a POV from a vampire. I am not a vampire. And also a Fury of the Gods. I'm pretty sure there's a POV of one. I think it's more of like a demigod type of character. And I am also not that. But I will probably end up reading Ruby Circle from the last book in the Bloodline series. Read a book by a friend's favorite author, Rilla of Ingleside by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Lots of friends that love this book. And then randomly generate 3 different letters. Read a book that starts with one of those letters. So I generated an I. Didn't have anything start with an I. Then I generated a C. I oddly didn't have anything that started with a C, which is weird. I feel like either of those, there should be at least one book, but. And then lastly, I generated a K, and I had 2. K is not necessarily a normal one, but one of them is The Knight and the Moth, and the other one is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and I will read one of those. A new to you publisher, and I was like, ooh, I read a lot of like self-pub and indie pub and lesser known publishers. I was like, well, this is going to be difficult, but then I found one. I don't think I've ever read anything from Red Hook or even heard of that publisher, and that's episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. And then Moon or Stars on the cover, that was super easy. You could tell by the title of the book, and that's Heavenly Bodies by Mani Iru. And then a word in the title that contains another word. So like bone, you could also pull out the word one, or hating, you could pull out the word hat. And I actually have a lot. There's quite a few. But I decided to go with Rainmaker by Talon Carver. And that one you could use rain or make or maker. I'm going to go with the word make because that's the Buzzwordathon prompt and that's the word to use for buzzword. And then if I complete all of those, then I will move into rank number 2. For the monikers, which are statuses and titles. So for statuses, you have anywhere from 2 to 6 points that you can get, and there's prompts for each of the points. And then that gives you like a word that describes you. So like betrayed or dark, like a dark lord, or a feared or nefarious, or bright, or best, or clean, happy, like the happy senator. Or I could be the betrayed chosen one. That would be kind of an interesting one. I like that. These ones are a little different than normal. And for 2 points, you have to read five books under 350 pages, or read 3 books completely within 7 days. Pretty easy. I kind of listed some books that would work for that. So under 350, I have The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow, Real Love Ingleside, The Perfect Victim, Sheets, The Blueprint, My Brilliant Friend. Those are all under 350 pages. For being able to read completely within 3 days, I put in like Sheets, The Final System, A Shadow Among Legions. That one is another short story. It's like 12 pages. So within 7 days, completing 3 books is like super easy for me. That's not a problem, especially if they're either short or audiobooks. For the next point system, it's the read a book between 375 to 475 pages, and also read a book entirely in 24 hours. So that one, I put The Deep by River Solomon, because that one's short. It's like 3 or 4 hour audiobook. For 4 points, it's all about kind of sevens, it looks like. So we have read a book over 700 pages. Well, I've got Empire of the Dawn, and I think that one's 760 pages by Jake Kristoff. The next one is read 7 books during the readathon. That's easy. And read at least 2,026 pages, which also not too bad. I typically read between 3,000 and 5,000 pages a month, so that should be fine. And then 5 points, there are read a book over 850 pages. That one, I don't know. I don't have one on my TBR that has that page count. So I may have to think about that one. But I mean, for our fantasy bingo, it was read a book over 900 pages. And for that, I did put in To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. And I went to the library that next week, and this book was there for $1. I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to read that one. So this is the one I was thinking of. And it's over 900 pages. So yeah, I may get to this one. This will be the last one I read, just in case. If I don't get to it, that's fine. The next prompt under 5 points is read 5 books over 500 pages. Right now, I see I have at least 3. So The Forever King, Demon's Rage, and The Fury of the Gods. I'll have to see if I can find 2 more that are on my TBR for May. Although for April, one of the group books for one of the guilds for Magical Readathon is The Jasad Heir. I wonder if I could push this to May instead and just get a scroll of continuation from the Emporium. So that could work because this one's 516 pages. Yeah, 516 pages. So that could work. So that would be a 4th one. Then I'll just have to look and see what else as I read through the month. And then the other option for 5 points is to read 10 books. Also easy for me in a month. Lastly, for 6 points, read 250 pages in a day, which not easy, but doable if it's an audiobook for me. And then read 7 hours in a day. Could do that on a sprint day, not a problem. And then read 15 books in the month. Still challenging, but doable. So there's some options in here. And then that's all I have so far for May the Force Read with you. I will be hosting sprints on Saturday, the 25th on my channel. It may be a little bit shorter. We'll see. It's been a busy month and I need some chill time. So sprints will help with that, but it'd also be nice just to sit and read with not having any pressure of anything going on. So it will most likely start between 9:30 and 10 on Saturday, Arizona time. And so 1-ish, I think, on Eastern time. And then go till probably about 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. So it'll be a little bit shorter this time, but it'll still be a lot of fun. So I hope to see you there. And now back to Past Debbie. And then I'm also going to be taking part in Escape the Readathon. I am on Team Scientists, and only because that one had the least amount of people on the team at that point in time. So that's why I chose it. And that is with Books with Lexi. I will leave links to all of the announcement videos for the readathons down below in the description box for you. And this one, I haven't actually picked all of the books and stuff yet. I feel like there's 14 prompts, but I think there's also some things that you don't necessarily need to do all of the prompts. Your team will get notified on Discord what the prompts are that you're going to be doing, at least initially, and then you kind of move through there. But you kind of start at the command center, and for this one, you pick one of your top 3 favorite tropes and stick to that the whole readathon. And that's where I kind of went, ugh. I read such a wide variety of things, the tropes are all over the place, that this is going to be difficult. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. Plus, I don't read for tropes, so I don't really think about what the tropes are in the books that I read that much. I read for characters and then plot, not necessarily if it's a chosen one, or although that one might be a good one because there's a lot of chosen one tropes, so maybe I go with that for one of them. So yeah, maybe I'll write that one down. So chosen one trope, I mean, I know enemies to lovers and friends to lovers, like that kind of thing is out there. Yeah, I gotta think about this one some more, but I think I didn't think about that. Chosen one trope might work fairly well for a lot of the books. Maybe I'll just look at some of the books that are on my TBR and pick tropes from there, because I don't really have a favorite necessarily. Yeah, we'll see on that. And then we have the Winston's Lounge, a book found on BookTube. That's easy. I've got a lot of those. The Tech Center, blurbed by an author you have loved before. So this one is a little bit harder, but she did give a website that you can go to that has a bunch of blurbs, books and the blurbs that they have. So that will be helpful. Cafe Nova, a different genre than the last book. Medbay, an isolated setting. I'm pretty sure most of the books that I have on my TBR so far should fit all of these prompts. Damage Control Center, a setting you haven't been to. That should be easy. I have traveled, but not that much. Ooh, I have a couple sci-fi settings. That would definitely work. Greenhouse, randomize your read. That should be pretty easy. I could put all the books on my TBR on a spinner wheel and choose that way. Engine Room, read an anti-rec. So a book that someone didn't like. That should be fairly easy as well, because I know one of the hosts for the Vampire Academy read-along, not really jiving with the Bloodline series. So I could choose Ruby Circle because I know she doesn't really like it. So that could be fun. Research Facilities, a book you borrowed. Easy. I get a lot of books from the library. Living Quarters, author name is below the title on the cover. Night in the Moth, Rachel Gillig. Perfect. Sleeping Lodge, a book a friend loves. Also quite easy. I'm pretty sure most of the books on my TBR, at least one of my friends has read and liked. Facility Management, an underhyped book. This one was fun because as a career, I used to be in facility management, so that's fun. And underhyped book, I'm pretty sure I have a few that might work for this one as well. Gym, author's latest release. That one's going to be a little more difficult. Yeah. I'll have to look and see all of what I have. I think most of the books I have on my TBR are not the newest releases. Oh, actually, yes. I have one. The Final System by Anthony Tardif. That will definitely work because this doesn't get released till June. So that would be his newest release. And then lastly, the Escape Pod. Only one team gets to make it to the Escape Pod. And that is the cover matches any host's thumbnail. So that'd be kind of fun too. So you can go to any of the host's thumbnails for, I think, anything. It doesn't have to be for the Escape the Readathon. It could be any of the thumbnails for any of their videos. And I think that one's a really fun prompt because it gets you to go in and see, like, have you seen any of their videos? Give them some love, give them some watch time and like their videos and watch them. And yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. So I'm excited about that. Not that you have to watch them to see the thumbnails, but while you're there, you might as well watch one. And then that's the end for that one. The last one, we have the Goober Readathon with the Goober Book Club, and that is hosted by Jess from Jashi Curran. You also have Monica the Bibliophile and Rachel, who are both on Instagram, and this is always so much fun. I think this is the second or third year. Definitely the second year. I think it's the second year. The first one was more of a garden theme, and that one was really fun too. And I'm excited to participate in this one again. This one has 27 prompts. There's a lot. Not all of them are reading prompts, but there's still a lot. You don't have to do all of them, but you do have to do some, at least one. And so you have two different parts, part A, part B. Part A, you have to go in order. Part B, you do not. And part A, this one is all about cooking concepts. And so our Ghosty Goober is going to learn all about cooking. So the first part is kitchen basics. And so each of the different sections, there's 3 prompts for each, and you have to do the first prompt before you do the second prompt, and then you could do the third prompt. And for kitchen basics, it's food safety, a book you think you'll like. And that's most of my TBR. They all sound good. I can read just about anything for that one. Menu planning, a planned book. Well, any of the Ben Galley books definitely will work for this one. Produce sourcing, a newly acquired book. I'm like, definitely gonna have to be one of my library books. And we'll see what comes in first. Cooking techniques. The first prompt is air frying, has 300 pages or less. The Deep by Rivers Solomon. Definitely, that one's a short one. Pressure cooking, finish a book in 24 hours. Rainmaker, because that one's 13 pages, so that'll be easy. Although I could probably finish Sheets as well, because it's a graphic novel. Pastry making, a 4+ star average rating. And I'm like, that one's a little harder, because a lot of the books are like 3.89, 3.92. So to find one that's a 4 point something is a little bit more difficult. I think all 4 books in this series are 4 stars, 4+ star rating, average rating. This one I think is the third book, and that's Those Who Leave and Those Who Stay. And that is by Elena Ferrante. Nature's Kitchen. Farmer's Market, first prompt. A Wreck by the Community. Well, that's easy. Fury of the Gods, definitely. Prompt 2, Sustainable Ingredients, a borrowed book. Any of my library books. And then composting, read and donate a book. This is where the struggle came in, because I have some books that I have that I would like to donate, but I've already read them. Or I have one that I have 2 copies of, but it's the second book in the series and I have not read the first book yet. So I didn't want to use any of those. And then I realized, you know what? I have another book that is an abridged version of a bunch of different stories, and I would rather have the full book. I don't want the abridged book. So I'm going to be donating this one, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has 6 different stories in it, and this one's Modern Classics of Suspense. The first book was Rebecca, which I loved, but I started reading it. I'm like, this is not the full, this is missing stuff. What is happening? And then I looked at the front and it's selected and condensed by the editors of Reader's Digest. So I'm going to be donating this one, but I might as well read one of the other stories out of here while I'm at it. And I'm going to read The Thin Man. And that is by Dashiell Hammett. And the illustration is amazing. The illustrator is Guy Deal. And there's, I want to say there's a couple of, there's a few pictures in here. And throughout the story as well. But I thought this one might be interesting. So The Thin Man it is. And then I will donate this one to either a free little library or something like that. Now we move into Chef's Journey. Prompt 1, Home Cooking, a book you already own. That's easy. I have a lot. There's actually quite a few books on my TBR that are from my owned TBR this month. But for this one, I will most likely read Heavenly Bodies by Imani Iru. And actually for the other prompt about the newest release. There's a book that comes out in May by Bengali and David Estes. And depending on when I read Demon's Rage, Demon's Ruin is the third book, which comes out in May. So I could read that for this other prompt as well. That's another option. Okay, prompt 2. Street Food has an eye-catching cover, and episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. I do like the green, and it's kind of an intriguing cover. I mean, it's somewhat simple, but intriguing and eye-catching. Fine Dining, a special edition book. This is where the perk of start a book in April and finish it in May is going to come in with The Swords Fall Silent. And this one, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that a lot of the special editions have. Like, it doesn't have sprayed edges, but it has a beautiful cover. It's got the beautiful end pages, and it came with the thickest, most sturdy bookmark I have ever had. This thing is amazing. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what this is made out of, but it is amazing. And this is from Wraithmarked. Definitely this one. International Cuisine, prompt 1, eat local. An author from or in your country, and for this one I'll read Sheets by Brenna Thumler. I believe she's from Pennsylvania. Global Foods, an author from or in another country, My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and they are from Italy. And then Fusion Cooking, a translated book, The Story of a New Name, which is, I believe, the second book in that same series by Elena Ferrante, because it was originally in Italian. Advanced Culinary Skill. Number 1, Mixology, a book that blends genres. Ruby Circle by Rochelle Mead. It is paranormal, it is fantasy, it is romance, so at least 3. Unusual Ingredients, a genre you don't normally read. The Anti-Inflammatory Diet by Sophie Richards, nonfiction. I try and read one every month, but doesn't always happen. Sometimes I get extras in there, but yeah, I also don't necessarily read a lot of just health in general books. And then 3, Molecular Gastronomy, a book with science. And for that one, I was like, oh no, I don't have anything for that. What do I have that could work for science? And then I was thinking, wait, don't I have a sci-fi on my TBR? And it does have science in it. I looked at the blurb and it says, and that's The Final System by Anthony Tardif. And that's the end of part A. And then we move into part B, which is hosting. And these you can do in any order. And there's 3 sections to it. So the first one is a set menu. So you have an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. And for this one, we have 3 hosts. So the 3 prompts are read a favorite from each of the different hosts. For Monica, there's a couple books on there. She has Japanese Gothic on there. I say if you have not read that one, I would highly recommend it. It's amazing. Love it. Go read it. Again, Gothic horror. Just beware. A lot of triggers. Also on her list was Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. And that one I already have on hold from the library, just waiting for it to come in. Oh, Monica also had 9 Goblins, which looked interesting. And then from Rachel, it's The Everlasting, and I forgot who that's by. Here it is. And that one looked interesting. And the other one is A Stage Set for Villains. And I don't remember the author name here either. But one of those 2, and my library has both, so whichever one comes in first. And then for Jess, she had 2 books that are on my TBR that I want to read. One of them is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, but the other one is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I'm like, well, let's just put this one on here again. Perfect. Next is the non-reading prompts, and there are 3 of them, and that's the Test Kitchen. So first one is cookbook. Share a favorite recipe. So you can share that in the Discord. I may share one with you guys. We'll see. And then potluck, cook a favorite meal. Easy. Ground beef, sweet potato skillet dinner. That is one of my favorites. Although I just made a pressure cooker beef stew last night that was amazing. That turned out so good. My husband told me twice last night how much he enjoyed that one. So that is definitely a make again. And I did make some substitutions for it so that I could eat it too. And yeah, it turned out so good. It was much better than the movie we watched. Now, we did watch If with Ryan Reynolds. That was amazing. That was so good. The main character, the actress, looked just like my cousin's daughter when she was that age. We were like, it was a little weird. We were like, oh my gosh, what is she doing on the screen? It definitely wasn't her, but it looked a lot like her. It was kind of fun. But we watched the next James Bond, and oh my gosh, they are so cheesy. So this one was from 1977. So yeah, the actors all do a fine job, but yeah, just the lines are cheesy. If you think the one-liners from Terminator are cheesy, these are worse. I love the one-liners from Terminator, but I mean, they make you laugh. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It was The Spy Who Loved Me, I think is what we're up to. And we'll see if we watch the next one tonight or not. Moonraker, I think is what we're up to. Yeah. Back to the readathon. Okay, food tour. Visit a local food market, which is great. Prescott has a farmer's market every Saturday, and we will go to that. It's been a while since we've been there, so it'll be nice to go back. And then lastly, Cozy Cuisine, Community Cookout, a poll-picked book. Easy. I feel like something else I was doing has a poll pick. I don't remember what it is now. So yeah, I will have a poll pick that I need to do. And I'll probably put that on the Discord for Gooberthon. And then a comfort read, reread a book. And that one will be Rilla of Ingleside by Lucy Maud Montgomery. And then lastly, a cooking collab, a book club, or buddy read. Well, perfect. I've got both of those, but might as well throw in my buddy read of Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger with Stephanie. And I think that's it. That's a lot. It's a lot. Now, I'm not saying I'm actually going to finish all of these books, but that's the plan so far. And it took me like 2 days of planning to figure out all of these. But I think I got it done. I'm still not totally sure what I'm going to be reading for Escape the Readathon yet, but I'm pretty sure most of the books in my TBR will fit somewhere in there, and I won't have to have yet another book. We'll see. And thank you so much for joining me on this really short, tiny little TBRopoly TBR and the really long month-long readathon TBR. Please let me know if you will be joining in any of the readathons that I am doing and what team you're on if you are part of Escape the Readathon. And if you are taking part in May the Force read with you, let me know what character you're going to be this time. And if you made it this far in the video, leave some type of moth or butterfly emoji in the comments for The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!